let's move now to your career, international career. So the decision to immigrate is not an easy one usually. That doesn't mean that it is difficult. I mean that it's not an easy one because you have to make many different calculations. You are perhaps taking a risk, and many young Algerians, of course, are confronted with that question of immigration. So how did Abderrahim deal with this question, and how did you finally decide to do the first step towards that?
Well, I always believe that a frog in a well will never know the big oceans. Want to know the big oceans, you have to leave that well. You have to leave your shell. This is number one. Plus, if someone has a long vision of after 10 years, what's your vision for 10 years? What's your vision for 5 years? What's your vision for 30 years? And what is the steps that you need to have now to reach those visions? It's very important. Living day by day will not help you to make this huge change or this huge transition. I reached a point where I'm not gaining anything new. I reached where I reached. I ticked all the boxes for now. What comes next? This is the question. Being aware of what comes next. What comes next is somewhere else. But in terms of leaving everything behind you. And it is a risk taking. If you risk, you will never succeed. And I'm not afraid of failure because I know failure is one of the steps of success.
Sure.
Failure is not opposite of success, but it is part of the success. And I failed and I failed and I failed. And I took risks and lots of risks. I lost money, I was kidnapped, and a lot of things happened to me in my life.
Oh my God, but kidnapped.
Huge words. Huge things happened to me. But not stop me. And thanks to those things that made me reach where I am now.
Sure.
Don't take those risks. You can never reach what you want to do. So I decided to leave Algeria. Before deciding to leave Algeria, one of the boxes that was assigned in my checklist is PhD. So I decided to do my PhD in Algeria, and then I had the PhD contest in 3 places in Algeria, but unfortunately I can't even see my name in the list, or even on the waiting list. Fair enough. That does not stop me. That does not kill me. Probably I said it is something good. It is a sign, something different. I remember one day I stayed, and I always have my mindful moments. This is a secret. I always have my mindful moments for kind of half an hour. It's always before I sleep, just at midnight. Before I always have that mindful moment where I sit with myself and I try to reason, go back, analyze. So one night, I decided to leave. Literally, and trust me. I opened my laptop at midnight, and before that, I told you I made my CV to reach the international standards, so I know how what kind of keywords, how to write it, and I was lucky because I know friends, professors in the universities and experts, and so what I did is I sent my CV for proofreading. How a professor in Doha University, for example, would look like to see my CV. And I sent it to 2 different places. I sent it to a professor in Doha University. I sent it to a friend in Cambridge University, and I sent it to a friend in Algeria, Professor Diana. So I wanted to see the different comments about my CV. And literally, I took that. So I was ready that my CV now is ready to be sent. I opened my laptop, I made search, and I was that time on a website called www.seriesteachers.com, which is an international website for teachers for recruitment. I had a profile there, but I never thought that I would send my CV on that website. So that night I said, okay, let me open this website and see what kind of job opportunities are there. And then it says, upload your CV and then share it, and then employers will see if they are interested, they will contact you. Okay, I said, okay, let me upload my CV, and that's it. I uploaded my CV and I switched off my laptop. I went to sleep. I woke up at 7 a.m. in the morning. I went to my office. I went to work. I opened my personal email and I found an email written.
This is the next morning.
The next morning. I received an email written in red. I've never received an email written in red. Bold. It says, we received your CV. Are you able to join us in 15 days?
Whoa.
Boom.
Whoa.
It's an recruitment. It's an immediate recruitment. And that was in November. It was like kind of a weird to be recruited in November, but it's an immediate recruitment. I sent back to that email. I don't know whether it is fake. I don't know whether it is serious. I don't know whether it is a kind of a gang or a terrorist email. God knows what that is. All those ideas came up in my mind, and no one knows. No one knows. It's kind of like when a cat's in a room full of pigeon in my head. Boom. And then I said, okay, hold on. I took a moment. I replied to that email nicely, and I said, thank you so much for your reply, but I need to know more about your institution. An immediate reply saying, please can you send us your phone number so we can have a phone interview.
Oh, that's more serious.
That more getting it serious now, because they said send us your document. I said no, I can't send you my document. Please, I need to know how. I sent because he said I don't have much time. Please, can you send me your phone number? I sent him a phone number, and they phoned me at 8 Algeria time, which is 10 Saudi time. Hello, how are you? Blah blah. The interview started. He said, I'm sorry, I'm in a hurry, but I need to cut it short. But I'm going to ask you just a few questions. I looked at the few questions he asked me about. Where are you working? Okay, and the only question he asked me, and he ended the interview is, he said, how come you are going to end up an indefinite contract that you're working in Algeria with your family and moving to Saudi Arabia for a 4-month contract? How can you do that?
That's an important question.
That's an important question.
Yeah.
And then my answer was, I said, do you guarantee me a longer life than 4 months?
Yeah.
He said, no one guarantees. I said that I'm not afraid of the future, but I seize the opportunity that is next to me now. I will not let the worry of the future or after 4 months stop me from grabbing the opportunity that is next to me right now. I grab the opportunity that is next to me right now. After 4 months, there will be plenty of other opportunities.
Yeah, sure. That was a very thoughtful answer.
But don't let the worry of the future stop you from doing beautiful things now. So I said, are you serious? I said, yes. I can take it after 4 months. There is another future after 4 months. So I have to grab this opportunity. I said, okay, so I'm going to end now the phone call. Thank you so much for your answer. And then he sent me, and plus other questions for the interview. But it took me about kind of 20 minutes, half an hour. And then he sent me the contract. When I looked at the contract, he said, please, can you sign it? and send it back. So just to cut
What
it short,
was the position? What was the position?
the position was the English instructor in an oil and gas company.
Oh, okay. So this was a company. This was an oil company.
It is an oil company, Saudi Petroleum Services Polytechnic.
Okay.
Oil and gas engineers.
Uh-huh.
I want to is how come you are going to teach technical English while you have zero experience of technical English?
Yeah.
And I told him, yes, as any recipe for any cake, if you have never made that cake, does not mean you will not be able to do it.
Yeah, sure.
Give me the right recipe and I'll do it. So this is the same thing. So I said, I have the English, but technical English, I'm able to teach technical English. All what I need is, I know it is difficult for me, but I need to catch up. I need to read. That is
Sure.
not and I still have time, so I can read more about technical English. So I said, okay, no problem, we will give you a chance. So the 4 months was a chance to see whether I'm able to teach or not.
But right before that, right before the 4 months, and you went to Saudi Arabia, can you talk briefly about how did you leave everything? You were at the British Council at that time?
I was at the British Council at that time.
So you had to resign, you had to leave everything and go to Saudi Arabia, right?
Everything happened in a winkle of an eye.
And so how, because I'm really interested in that intense moment in which anybody has to make the leap. And it's basically, as you were saying and explaining, the leap into the unknown. So can you briefly talk to me about that moment in which you leap into the unknown and say, okay, here's my resignation, let me pack everything and let's
It's
go.
true. Because the problem is that